Hi there, this is Alexander with Steamworks Espresso service. Today we're going to go into the details of what we do when we refurbish an espresso machine. Some typical examples of scaly boilers, old worn out parts, and some of the process and the ins and outs of what our machines look like when they're finished on the internal aspect. Here's some examples of typical components that we find within each espresso machine. Here you have a heat exchanger, which is very scaly. You can see it's flaking apart in my hands, all the scale that's being broken off. This machine is in no more or less service than any other machine that we come across. Typically they all look like this. Some of them are worse than others depending on how much milk and or scale is in the boiler. Over here we have steam valve assembly, and you can see just how scaly and ruined most all of this is, and it's rather foul, but this is pretty much what's in most espresso machines on the inside, where people don't typically go other than technicians. Another example here is an autofill valve. This is a component that sees a lot of wear and a lot of service. It's one of the main components in your espresso machine that helps maintain fluid levels automatically. It is in conjunction connected to computers and other devices that control your water flow. And this one is rather disgusting. And this is pretty typical of what you see in most machines out on the field. Today we'd like to go over how we get these components you see here in this condition to these components you see here. Here are 3 group heads that have been completely stripped and refurbished and polished out. Very clean, ready for service inside and out, to be reassembled on any given machine. Now here we have some more lines and fixtures that go directly to the boiler. These are all nickel-plated components, and you can see that they've all been brought back to the original luster. All the details we go through on refurbishing our machines are pretty extensive. Every single machine that we put back together has been gone through. Nut and bolts have been removed on every corner and avenue of the machine and hand polished, and then we take it through a 3-step descale and polish system that we use here at the shop exclusively. Here's an example of some of the finished copper lines. You can see they're really brilliant in luster and color. A lot of polishing and a lot of work goes into making these look as good as new, if not better than new. Some valve assemblies here, great example of what we have as a finished product. We are going to demonstrate part of the process in which we take lines that look like this, which are every day out of our broken down espresso machines. Some of the machines out in service typically have very corroded and very encrusted, scaled over lines inside and out, and we're going to show you some of the process in which we instill in each machine that we build to make these lines come out like this. Earlier. Now what we've done here is we've skipped the process that you don't have to watch. We've muriatic acid dipped this and then hand cleaned it with abrasives, and we're going to go through the process of polishing this out, taking some of the grit off the ends of the fixture. So this may be a little loud. First thing we want to do is remove all of the crud and crust at each fitting end. Next up, we're going to go ahead and apply a compound and buff this out. And this is the finished product. It almost has a mirror-like shine to it, and really the key is, of course, the inside. That's what matters the most. But we like to bring it all back to new.